process of creating an account and obviously creating your first loyalty reward campaign. So if you don't mind, we'll just hop right into it. Today, we're going to go ahead and create, well, demo business. We're going to be pretty straightforward to it, right? So right now, we're going to have a user called demo admin. The email address, you will obviously require a email address, especially if you forget your password, right? I might want to learn how to spell Perkly. Okay, .io. And you do need a password that is at least 8 characters. You'll see it's telling you there that you're going to have at least 8 characters. It's not going to enforce the strength of the character. If you want, feel free to go ahead and read the terms and policy. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and create our actual account. Okay. So now we're going to create, well, let me pause for a second. So after you've created yourself as a user, right? So you've created an account. Right now, the account creation process is complete. It's done. Things to keep in mind is that if you kind of don't complete this full process that I'm going through right now, after your demo is over, within a couple of days, we'll probably shoot you an email, say, hey, your trial's expired, and obviously if you don't interact with that, we're just going to go ahead and automatically delete what you've done this far, basically, because your demo's over and you probably won't use the system. With that said, the page that we land on after creating our account pretty much breaks down everything we're going to have to do. So it's listing 5 steps. The 4 are pretty much what it takes to get an actual loyalty campaign going. The 5th is just basically onboarding your customers, right? Encouraging them to sign up for rewards. And we will make a separate video addressing that, like how to promote this, right? But in the interim, let's just go ahead and follow the steps. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that as you go through all these steps, if you kind of get lost, you can always click home and it'll always take you to the next step that you have due, right? So let's go ahead and create our business. And we'll go ahead and, pick an industry. So, retail would probably be, a pretty decent, sector or vertical that you'd want to have a loyalty rewards program. Okay. And we'll go ahead and we'll call it a demo business. Okay. If you had a logo, you would go ahead and create there basically, right? So you click on, there we go. You do have to add an actual email address, right? So this is the address that the people see so they can contact you, right? So it'll be demo business at Perkly.io. A phone number that you're going to want them to be able to call you at, right? Because this is kind of promotional in a sense. If you had a website, you can go ahead and enter the URL in there as well. Say Perkly.io. Okay. If you had any social links that you wanted to list on that page as well, you could do that. And then obviously any custom links that you want to have on there, right? So you could put maybe specific links that you want to link to on your website or anything else. You can just put some text and then the URL that's in association with that. As far as things that are mandatory when creating it, you could also, whenever you're on one of these submenus, there may be additional options underneath it as well. So these are known as tabs. So you could put your street address or whatever else, right? So the things that are mandatory though in this process is creating, choosing an industry, and that just really helps us better market to our potential clients. Your business name, you don't have to do a logo, and you will have to have a contact email address. That's pretty much it. Those are the only mandatory things. So we'll go ahead and create, right? So now if you don't know where you're supposed to be going, right, there's no additional directions, it is kind of showing you staff members and segments, etc. Just click home and it'll take you to the next step, right? So go ahead and create a staff member. Okay, and we have to select our business. And keep in mind, you could have multiple businesses running underneath this, in a sense. Okay, we'll give it a name. So, demo user, right? And we'll just say demo user at Perkly.io. Okay, we'll give them a 8-character password. If they had a photo that they wanted to do, right, you could put a photo of the actual staff member as well. But we're good there. So now we've created our user. The next thing, let's go ahead and click home. It's going to take us to create a reward. So in order to create campaigns, right, where your loyalty reward campaigns, you have to have rewards. So it just makes sense to create your reward first, right? So we'll just, we'll say, you know, high end. Okay. Let's see the points cost. We'll say it's 400 points. And the retail value is, let's say, $40. Okay. Always make sure that active is selected. By default. It will be, but just in case you kind of misclick it, which is always possible. If you're not seeing a reward, it just means that you did not, it's not checked active. Another thing that would stop it from appearing would be the active date, right? So we're making this active for, about a year and a half. And then additionally, you can put a description for the product, right? So this is the description of the reward, okay? And then if you have, all right, so we've got a scarf image as well. We'll go ahead and create that. And that's all set. And then go ahead and click on home again. And this is pretty much the last step, right? So this is the campaign that we're going to do right now. Some things to keep in mind is as far as the URLs, like what are they going to look like, right? So you can use a subdomain of your website. You can use a subdomain, or you could have a top level domain as well point to our program. And the way that works is you just point to app.perkly.io. That'll be in the directions in the next step, but I figure I'd say that right now. If you know how to modify CNAME records in DNS, then you'll be well underway. But, worst case scenario, we're going to create a perkly.io URL that you're going to be able to use in the interim so you can get started right away. Okay, so we'll create our campaign. All right, so we need to choose our business. We'll say demo business. We're going to give the campaign, we're going to call it loyalty rewards, obviously. I guess that's not so obvious. How many points do we want to give a customer when they sign up? Let's say, hey, you sign up today, you get X and X amount of points. And this is the directions where it said before. So you can leave it empty. If you leave it empty, we're going to automatically generate a URL for you. You don't need to have, if you do use like a domain, your own domain, subdomain, etc., you don't need to put the HTTP. Just go ahead and put like the full domain, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do demobusiness.perkly.io. And keep in mind, when we're done with this, like that'll take maybe like a minute to propagate. So on our end at least. So obviously you'll still have to go back and start pointing your CNAME record. But if you're kind of going through the process right now, you could always pause this video and then go ahead and modify your CNAME record or create one for that matter. And then you can go ahead and point it to app.perkly.io. All right, so we've done this portion. Now we're going to do the rewards, right? So we've created a reward, so we're going to associate that as well. Next would be any settings. So we can choose what options are available as far as basically awarding and redeeming points, so like earning them, etc. I highly suggest making these middle two inactive for now until you have time to kind of get to know the system, because these are going to be contactless. They're going to be very simple. It's probably the quickest process. There are use cases for these other two, but we'll save those for another video. So if you want to take the word of somebody who uses this all the time, let's go ahead and just disable those for now. All right. As far as content, so now the content you can give like a top bar title. So demo is top title. Did I spelled that right? I guess I did. Top headline. And then we can also like modify additional things. Like all this is pretty much going to be, well, not all of it. There's going to be a lot of items filled in for you, but we just give you like extra content areas where you can kind of fill in information as well. And then obviously, you see that there are additional tabs under each thing. Okay. And you can change your colors, your primary color, secondary, mobile menu. And you can just go back and do this like multiple times until you kind of get the look and feel that you're interested in. All right. That's it. We're done. So we've gone through all the steps, and we're going to go ahead and create our first campaign. You'll notice that we have a area here, right? That's going to be our URL. We also have a staff member URL. So this is where the staff member can log in on their phone and be able to like run this on their phone when they're working with a customer, right? So instead of even having to go to the point of sale, they can literally lift their phone. The customer could be holding the QR code up on their phone. Your staff member scans, and boom, it's done. And then the staff member would just enter the points that they're awarding. And the same thing would be true as far as like redeeming points as well. Unless the system wants to make a liar out of me, let's go ahead and click on the URL, and we should be taken to our new custom subdomain on Perkly.io for our rewards program. And that's it. We're in business. So you can see there's our logo. There was the top title that we made. There's the top headline. You know, some of this information was already auto-filled. And like I said, you can control all the colors here. This is the actual, and obviously, you know, go ahead and close that or read the terms as you like. This is the actual reward. If the customer wants to go ahead and use that reward, they're going to have to log in. And that's pretty much it for now. I mean, as far as you being somebody to get your business up and running, that is pretty much what it takes. Thank you for you.